What's up? Can you hear me?
What's going on?
Nothing much.
Oh, man, good stuff. Yeah, I'm just making coffee. Moving into
Oh,
the day. I was up late.
yeah, me too.
There's a man.
I got like 2 hours of sleep.
No, I did. Where's the? Where's the Hey, Ahmed.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, Matt. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Ahmed was telling me a story yesterday about.
Hey,
Well,
Matt, did I
Ahmed, I'll let
ever
you tell his story.
Matt, did I ever tell you how I got started in cybersecurity?
I don't know. Uh, you told me a little bit about in the early 2000s, something like that, but
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Sorry. I'll. Mike wanted. I told him the story yesterday, and he said, "Hey, come on, come on, my Twitter Spaces, tell Matt the story." So I'm here. I don't know if you're interested. Um,
I'm running on 2 hours of sleep, so
oh,
my
okay.
memory's off.
Well,
So if I said that wrong, I apologize.
no, it's
Really.
all good. Oh, why haven't you slept?
It was just one of those nights. I don't know. Every so often,
Oh, I
I
understand.
stayed up too late doing research.
Oh, I totally get that. I totally
Yeah.
get that. Okay, so,
But yeah, tell me this.
so this is a story about an interesting night as well. Um, so I basically made this product called Trustifier. And it took like 4 years to kind of develop. I started working on it in '98, and then it was around 2002 when it was fully sort of developed, and it was a drop-in kernel module for Linux and Windows, and it could provide like really deep controls and provide mandatory access control, etc. Like this is before SE Linux ever was a thing. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So I give this guy this software, like I've built it. It's a kernel module. I give it to um, I give it to a friend of mine named John at UCLA. Hi. Oh my goodness. It's Jocelyn. Make Jocelyn a speaker too, man. Oh,
It's been so long.
Jocelyn has been away. Like I haven't spoken to him in such a long time. Hi, sir. So, anyhow, so I get a okay. So imagine like a week before Halloween, Thursday night, I get a call from my friend John, and I'm sitting in my home in Ottawa. And John was a sysadmin at UCLA, and he tells me that a guy named Aaron is going to give me a call at 3 in the morning. Okay, and that I have to take this call. Like, okay, fine, all right. So I make some coffee and I'm waiting for this guy Aaron to call me. And sure enough, at 3 in the morning, my phone rings and it's Aaron, and he's calling from Sydney, Australia. And he apparently has shown my software to Aaron. And Aaron, while he didn't really say very much, he did say that he needed to license that software right away and 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 start using it in production. And I'm like, well, it's not really ready for production, but he insists, and I say okay. And I said, how many systems do you need it for? Oh, he says, how much is it? I said, about $5,000 a computer. And he says, great, I need it for 350 computers. And I do a quick calculation in my head, and that's $1.5 million. So I say, okay. And I say, well, why, when do you need it? He's like, I need it today, and we need to have it deployed by Tuesday. I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, no. And I said, okay. He said, just give me 20 minutes. He calls me back after half an hour and asks me for my wiring information. So I give him my account number and wiring information because he's coming from a trusted source. And he sends me an NDA to sign, and I sign the NDA. And next day, I get $1.7 million Canadian in my bank account because of, and literally, so I'm on with him, training him for 2 days, and he and his team deploy the software in Auckland, Melbourne, and Sydney, the 3 offices that they had, and we get it done by Tuesday, right? So I still don't know what the heck is going on here, what this company is, and what they're trying to do. But I was told that they were trying to protect some documents, some really sought after intellectual property. A couple of weeks later, I find out that the intellectual property is a manuscript of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. And they are the publishing house for Asia. And I was like, great, I will give you $500,000 back if you can get me the rights to use this, the Harry Potter logo and the image in my talks. And so I have the right to use the front cover of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix in everything other than advertising, like in editorials, etc., in relation to this entire use case. That's how I got my start in cybersecurity. Built a data leakage protection system that was so that they were able to actually get themselves insured for $150+ million. And what had happened was, for 11 months, Deloitte and Touche was refusing to give them the certification, and they'd been working trying to get this thing in place, and they were not able to, because they were the source of the leak for book number 3 and book number 4, and they were about to lose the contract, which was what had. Right, it was just a terrible situation, which we came in and helped with. So that was the start of my love for data and intellectual property protection and all that good stuff. And then there was a news about it in Ottawa Sun, and U.S. Army Acquisition Corps commander who was posted in Ottawa, because that's what they do, came up to my office and said, hey, is this you? And I said, yes. And he said, well, we need to buy this buy this for the U.S. Army, because, God damn it, if it can protect Harry Potter, if it actually does what it does, then we can use it to protect weapons data. I'm like, sure. So it ended up becoming part of a program called OneTest, and then eventually Future Combat System, and that was a lot of fun.
That is awesome. That's such an awesome story. Of all things, Harry Potter, right?
Hey,
awesome.
I got a pretty cool hacker name out of it. I can't seem to find the article anywhere online, and I lost the newspaper. But the newspaper, the the reporter called me the digital Dumbledore, and I thought that was hilarious because I quote unquote protected Harry Potter.
That is epic. That is so awesome.
I've always been I've always thought that I should switch my hacker profile to digital Dumbledore.
I remember. I remember you also telling me the story about how the time that things didn't go so well when you got the other call
Well, I mean,
from
I'd
the
say,
law firm.
well, I mean that's how I started Safe AI, right? So essentially, what had happened was a friend of mine called me in March of 2017, and he was very distraught and upset, like a grown ass man, literally in tears. And he's a lawyer and he's a named partner in a law firm. And they had gotten hit by ransomware uh, 6 times in a period of 4 months, something like that. It was just terrible. It had gotten into their backups, and they kept on doing the restoration, and they paid something like two ish, 1.5 ish million in ransom in total, and but their firm was done because they kept on asking for extensions, and everybody was getting mad at them for not getting their act together. But they were just devastated. And his call made me think about how to really protect data, and that's when I started thinking that it's not necessarily that we have bad solutions, but that we are looking to solve the wrong problems. People are very smart, but uh, smart people are their eye is on the wrong thing, and it turns out that that was probably a good way to think about it. And you know we've been because as Jane Fulton and not Einstein said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again but expecting different results. um, we attribute it to Einstein, but it's actually Jane Fulton who said it. And the point is that the point is that we were failing at attacking the ransomware problem because we were solving the wrong problem. It's not it's not about protecting the communications channel. It's not about protecting the compute. It's not about protecting the users or training the users who can never be trained. It's about somehow getting the data to protect itself, right? Which is what led to the invention of cybernetic engrams and the new type of AI that can actually interweave itself with the data, and then figuring out, okay, how do we build it as a file system so that people can actually use it? Because AI projects have this nasty habit of not being able to work with existing environments, right? So that whole thing led to where I am today.
Good morning, gents. Just wanted to come say hello. Grand opening, grand closing. I have to run, but wanted to come salute the OGs, the Mike, Meds, the
Salute,
Tamash, making
Hassan.
a reappearance into the spaces after all the bugs that he's encountered. Thank you for being in the space. And obviously, KC. NFTs are worthless. .eth in the building, connecting. And obviously, Golden Retriever.
That needs to be our soundbite. NFTs are worthless is in the chat. That's the soundbite.
Glenn, it is so wonderful to hear your voice, my friend. And Tomash, it has been a minute, sir. It's wow, what a and Casey, oh my goodness. Look at all the people I have missed and dearly were sort of the emptiness is not really realized once until the cup is full again. So I feel my cup full.
Well, we could get another cup, Med. A bigger cup.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
All right, I have to run, but
right.
when are you doing your next space? Unicorn Mike.
You know, people have been asking me for us to do a reunion.
Let's
Just throwing that out there.
make it happen. I'm a big
All right.
supporter.
All right, I'll schedule it up.
All right, guys. Have a fantastic and gals. Have a fantastic day. A wonderful week. A marvelous month. Outstanding year. Great rest of your life. Until we connect again, my friends. Ciao for now.
All the love, Hoslan.
That has been marvelous moments with Joseline. Hey, Casey.
Hey, hey,
How,
hey.
how sexy is it this morning?
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Oh,
Dude.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be real sexy. So good. All right. So, yesterday, I made the horrifying mistake of updating my SIM card.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, that was such a fucking mistake. I lost more than half a day. I lost my appointment with the voice coaching with Infinity
No.
Forge. Oh yeah, blew that fucking face planted. Couldn't even respond to the text messages. Lost access to all my wallets. It was a good time.
Well, I mean, to the left of you and to the right of you are probably the only two people on the planet that I would suggest you talking to.
Oh, it's all sorted now. I got it all fixed out now. It's all good now. But Jesus, that was 5 hours of pain. Yeah, good times.
No, pain is just what? Weakness leaving your body, Casey. So it's all good. Gents, I have to also beg leave. I've got a rather busy day. Thank goodness. But
And good luck tomorrow. I'm not sure if you want to let the bag out of the cat, but good luck tomorrow.
no, I don't. No, it's not tomorrow. It's on.
Oh,
It's on the 7th. But I need your input in the next. In maybe say at 10:30.
yeah, sounds good
I
to me.
All
I'm
right.
ready.
Sounds good.
All right,
Bye.
I guess. Romance precision generalization. Wow. Well, look, that story, Casey, could have ended a lot worse. Jesus.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know that could have sucked to a higher degree. It's true, but I persevered through sheer stubbornness. I made it.
I like that. You got control of your wallet by persevering. I'll be here all week. WEAK. Nick Flanagan. Oh man, Nick Flanagan. Great puns. That was
What's
the
up,
title of his
Buckley?
album.
No, you are horrible. NFTs are worthless, man. What's good?
Yo, what's up?
Just trying to smash another day on the record books, you know.
Saying?
Casey, did you see the billboard that we erected in honor of NFTs are worthless?
Oh my.
No.
No?
Where do I see this? Where do I go to see this?
So,
On my profile.
let me
On
just,
your profile?
I'm
It's
going to post it at the
under.
top. I'll post this up. Yeah, bang. Take a look. This is now legit.
Hold on, just waiting for it to pop up. Not there yet. Let me do a little refresh. It still doesn't pop up for me. Damn
It always takes like
technology.
10 or 20 seconds for me for some reason.
Right? Oh, there. Oh. Yes, I am totally retweeting this one. Liking. And I gotta pull Chris Bond. NFTs are worthless. I really want you to talk with Chris Bond. I think you guys would have a very interesting conversation.
Who's Chris? Who is that?
So, out of the the needless community that I enjoy, there's there's a group of 4 founders, and one of them is named Chris Bond. I tagged him after I retweeted your billboard. He's a very experienced individual in NFTs, artist, musician, certified in a multitude of, like he's rarity certified. Are you familiar with that process?
And the NFT space?
So if you get certified on rarity, it means that you show from inception to creation that it is your art. So you have to follow a process while you're creating your art and submit each piece so that your art can be verified as yours. And it's a pretty lengthy process that they go through. But stuff like that. Decent at coding, I believe, and just well-versed individual. I think you guys would really hit it off.
Yeah, he has his head on straight. We talked that day on on Discord, right?
Oh, you met with you? Did you get to chat with Chris?
Yeah, he
Oh, nice.
yeah, he had a whole professional career. It just remember we were talking like he speaks so casually that people mistake that
Wait,
casualness.
are you thinking about Ninja?
Oh, maybe, but I talked to both of them. I think. Okay,
I
right.
think you talked to Ninja and Miguel. I don't think I don't think you've talked to Chris yet, but I tagged him in my retweet. You guys should check him out. I think both of you'd really enjoy it. Yeah. Oh, dude. I actually met the chief development officer of an AI institute yesterday. And
Tell me more.
I'm gonna see if I can even remember how to rephrase this. So
I would prefer if you bungled the AI phrasing. I think it's more fun that way. You see, the Skynet protocol connects with the Chainlink Oracle, which is connected with Omniscient Chain.
Yeah, the way I'm going to rephrase it is that they're basically utilizing AI in every conceivable fashion they can think of. And one of the examples was using, so you know how some medical procedures like prosthetics installments, they'll use robotic arms to actually perform the cuts, especially when like cutting bone to reshape it.
Mm-hmm.
There's an AI program for the arm to ensure that as it's cutting, it's measuring bone density, and it'll instantly recalibrate and alter the cut.
It sounds a bit dicey.
Literally, right?
I don't know why I am this way, but I am.
You are just feeling your oats, man. You're feeling your oats. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. That is. Oh, also, the Aladdin to chapter 11.
Yeah.
I want to redo that as an interview. What do you think?
Love it.
Do you like that idea?
Here's the thing. NFTs. You mind being a guinea pig for a story?
Yeah.
All right, Casey. Imagine that you just walk on stage. They stop the plotting. There's a pause, and then you begin this story. Let's see how it works in the wild with someone who hasn't heard it before.
All right, we'll try it just off the hip. Not really ready, to be honest with you, but so I'm here today to tell you my story and hope that it brings you some clarity in your own life. That's the reason for telling you my story. My story is consolidated, summarized by saying I lost a lot of money in real estate on a real estate rug pull. I went upside down 1.5 million after losing 10 properties, 14 mortgages, a Porsche, Cadillac Escalade, 401k, IRA, credit, fiance, dog, house to live in. I became homeless. I lost everything of monetary value. And I managed to do this by getting into business with the wrong people. And even though
Did you disappear on us?
The rugging.
Huh. Man. They, maybe that was the people who stole his money. They're back at it again. You know, when he said that sim thing, I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, that's never good.
Man, if I had a wallet, I'd never change my phone. It's too risky. It's 2025. We're on 7G at this point. I can't risk it. I don't know what happens when I change my SIM.
I try not to tie anything to my phone number for that very reason.
Yep. It's such a crazy vector.
It is. It's so insecure too, and I don't know.
Wait, are those authenticators not safe?
NFTs. Why would you? What is the attack surface introduced by attaching your phone number in the hope of two-factor authentication?
The illusion of security.
Right.
On your phone?
Go ahead.
I'm talking about using one of those authenticators on your phone. So, for example, like Google Authenticator, or like, what the fuck is the other one I use? Is that different than it getting connected to your phone, quote unquote?
Those are actually those are okay. They're a lot more secure than text message two-factor auth. The problem with two-factor auth via text message is that just some simple social engineering could get you SIM swapped in 2 minutes and somebody's in your account.
Yes, Casey, you're back. So Casey walks back on stage. Maybe he threw up. Whatever.
those darn work
back on
calls.
stage. He wipes his mouth. Right. All right.
So like I was saying.
Yeah. Can you start again? What do you think, Ali?
All right, I'm going to try a little more of an extreme approach.
What would you say, Ali?
Okay, here we.
I feel a little tension in the chest area. Just relax into it. But I like what I'm hearing.
Okay. I'm gonna try to use that tension to my benefit and try to power myself up with it. I almost lost my life in a real estate rug pull. It damn near killed me, and it killed literally a couple of the people that were in the group that I was with. There were people that quite literally did not make it out of that. I myself suffered a $1.5 million loss on 10 houses, 14 mortgages. My entire portfolio was wiped out. I lost my house that I lived in. I was homeless, lost my job, fiance. I mean, my whole life was just destroyed by this. As a loan officer, a top producing loan officer, the shame that I felt over allowing myself to get rug pulled in an industry that I worked in was crippling. And it was very tough to mentally and emotionally pull myself through that pile of shit. So what I learned was that you can be an expert in a field That does not mean that you're going to be an expert in a field that is associated with your field of expertise. So I am a very talented loan officer. I can analyze scenarios on the fly. I can come up with solutions that most other people can't. But what I am not is a real estate investor. And learning the difference the hard way, recognizing what you are good at, and also giving credibility to what you're not good at, even if the majority of the people around you think that you're supposed to be. Like, the perceptions of other people is so impactful that you have to really differentiate what are you actually good at and what are you actually not. So I went into a real estate investment project and didn't know that the person at the head of it was a registered sex offender, felon. I didn't think to do that deep of a research on him. I was focused on the title report, on the appraisal, on the rental comparison, on the market analysis, all the things that I was used to looking at. And what I should have been looking at was the team of people that I was working with. I should have found out that the person, the lead person on the project, had their relative as the appraiser, their wife as the title agent, her sister as the lender broker. I never in my wildest imagination would have thought that it was even possible to manipulate the system, because I had always been following the rules, and then I came across a group of people who didn't give a shit about the rules. They were in to manipulate anything and everything they can get their hands on to squeeze somebody into buying another house to make their money. And I had never experienced that, because as the type of lending that I did, that was absurd to ever even think about something like that. So for me, realizing that there are bad people out there that will tool you over to make a buck was startling. And had I realized that they were all in cahoots with each other, that would have scared me enough to push me away from it. So I learned to stay in my lane, be humble about what I don't know. And when we say DYOR, do your own research, it means a lot more than a Google search or sticking to what you know. You got to get outside of your comfort zone and look at things that you hadn't looked at before. So after 7 years of working with the FBI for nothing at the end of the day, after surviving more than a 1-year audit one-on-one versus the IRS for $1 million, after single-handedly going up against the Black Knight Corporation and doing all three successfully, I was both proud of myself for making it through that, but I remain very humble in how I got there in the first place. There, that's my story.
I want us to use that story for a mutable.
For a mutable?
Everything you just described is also everyone in the digital currency space, in the NFT space. They might be great NFT investors, but just because they know how to pick a project does not mean they know how to keep the NFTs in their possession.
Being an NFT buyer and being an NFT holder are effectively two different lanes, right?
It seems like the same thing, doesn't it?
It sure does. Until you wake up one day and all your NFTs are gone from your MetaMask wallet.
And you know, the experience you just had is just like that's the first thing my mind went to is your wallet. Because what happens in the span of 5 hours? I don't know. Right? Maybe there's somebody working at the, where did you get the new SIM from? Right? And where did they get it from?
You know
How do I know that any SIM card that I get doesn't have a sniffer on it? Just curious.
Well, you
NFT.
know, have you heard about people using like the Bluetooth connection from like 10, 15, 20 feet away? They see
Yeah,
some,
the Bluetooth beacons they call it.
yes. So it makes me think about NFT New York. There's this big NFT gathering in New York.
Fuck off.
Yeah, yeah. So you're gonna have these massive crowds of people constantly
Give
looking at their
everyone a hug. You know, so look at this guy. He's so lovable. He's just hugging everyone. I'm just like pushing my pelvis
What
against
you
him.
guys talking about?
You know, I just gotta push his pelvis against him. Fucking making money over here now.
What's up, Proxy? How you doing?
Good, man. Just chilling at work. What you guys up to?
Oh, just shooting the breeze about how unsecure NFTs are, about how people get ripped off like all the time, but nobody's really creating a real solution to it.
Yeah, I think one of the easiest solutions to that is
Sorry,
there needs to be
you
some sort of
sound like
rule
how
around.
Casey looks.
Do what?
Proxy, you're struggling with the blockchain, and the blockchain's messing with you a little bit.
Oh, hold on. Let me relocate. Should be better now. I moved like 5 feet. Connection improves.
That sounds good. That's clear. That's
Yeah.
clear.
I was next to a brick
Here,
wall.
I'm glad to hear that you can like class up the place.
Yeah. Is it better now? Should be fine.
Yeah. You're clear.
All right. So, yeah, like I think the best solution as far as like when it comes to like scams and things like that, I think there just needs to be some sort of rule on these like when you're able to go and make a collection, right? I feel like there needs to be some sort of trial period that where you have to submit like a white list, not a white list, but a white paper, explaining the entire utility and with some sort of proof of assets backing up that utility. Because without that, there's nothing. You know what I mean? There's nothing to really say. Hey, are you actually going to get what you're buying into, or is it just someone's temporary thing that looks good, but it's really just fragments of like other pieces of actual utilities? Because I've seen that a lot.
Yeah, I still think we're in the part of the market where no utility is still utility because people are afraid of inflation.
Right.
So any port in the storm, right?
So, what do you think about the Goblin NFT that is just absolutely mooning right now?
What is it like? What is it about? Like I haven't seen that one.
It's nothing, dude. It's junk.
Like
There is no utility, point blank, and it
see,
is
that's
just
what
at.
I don't understand though. Is like why is it even? Why are people even buying into? Like I know that they're buying into it. I guess with the thought of, okay, people are making money on these things. If I just buy one and sit on it, I'm gonna make money.
I have a theory. My theory is monetized social equity.
Well,
So,
they say you used to. Sorry, Proxy, can you mute up for a sec? Kind of lagging at that.
hey, Proxy, I'm sorry, buddy. You got some background noise going on where you're at.
Yeah, I'm in a warehouse. My bad. I'm using.
There we
Sorry.
Well, what were we talking about again?
monetized social equity.
Oh yes, they used
gather
to say
the
that
groups,
they
find a way
used
to gather a crowd.
They used to say that you build the product and you attract an audience. Now you build the audience and then you provide the product.
Hello, Dogecoin.
Yeah, see, I don't like that whole idea. Like that's just whack in my just like I understand like okay if you actually came up with a white paper right and you're like I need investment and I'm starting this collection on an investment basis with the potential to create a product and those that invest in it will be retain equity or some sort of royalty based on that product sales later on. That would be the appropriate way to do so. But that's not what's happening.
Yeah. It's the thing is like Um, it because this is a feature and a bug of decentralization, right? In a decentralized world, you get to use your opinion as custody,
Right.
right? And so we're trying to, essentially we're trying to nerf the world, right? NFTs. How might we nerf this world?
So I have another concept. This is like financial art. Like the whole conversation, does art impact real life? Does real life impact art? What we are seeing is the irrational impact of society effectively manifesting itself as irrational financing, because you have these junk projects that are exploding in value. Why? Oh, a bunch of people like it, so it's doing good, and that's it.
Well, any reason is right when a price is going up. Any reason is correct. Any explanation for price going up is correct when the price is going up. And then when the price goes down, inevitably people have to change their arguments. Not because the arguments don't hold. The arguments can hold. And just, hey, things are going down now, so we need to hear something else, motherfucker.
Like the market value is determined by the length of attention span.
Price fetishism. You ever heard the idea of price fetishism?
No.
So one of the things, so Karl Marx, we have to read everything that Karl Marx did. We even followed his lambda calculus in third year. So Marx had this idea called price fetishism. So imagine you start off where a cow is a cow, you exchange cows for cows, they're fungible cows, let's say. And then you go from cow to two chickens, right? And then one cow is two chickens, which is 1.7 goats, right? That's how we used to barter. Then we introduced money. So it's $5 a cow, $2 a chicken. Now, what if I decide to say, what if I charge $7 for a chicken instead of $2? And people realize that price and value were abstracted from each other when you introduced money. Price became a fetish in that the higher the price, the more value was perceived.
This is why I prefer trading over anything, because trading is based on individual value. How much can you gain from making that trade? And how much can the other person gain, from whatever you have to give? That value is based on, the necessity of it and the usefulness of that thing.
Well,
And that should also be turned around and be used in value for pricing as well.
well, I mean, that assumes, a perfect market, right? But the challenge here, especially in decentralized markets, is that these are manipulated markets, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so we can make whatever story up about this line using two constraints. Imagine technical analysis is, here are my two constraints, but I'm not going to explain the world. Right? So it's just one of those things, though, that you know how much money there is in keeping people dumb? What? And if only one of these projects has to make it out of 100, that's a pretty affordable way to return the fund. Right? Think about it. If it takes 100 projects for one to succeed, and it ostensibly only costs you a bit of mining to do it, right, in the smart contracts, that's a very affordable way to return the fund. Because we know VCs are in it for the price and not for the value. So Proxy, what do you do when you're not trading? It's funny because it's bugging. There are it showed us two proxies.
Is he verified?
It
Is that
looks like
right?
it looks like he's cooler than the both of us combined. Yeah, the perfect market hypothesis. It occurs to me that a lot of economics assumes that all of the players are the same size. Right? It's very difficult to display on a graph the differential impacts of movements of a small amount of the market players, which form the oligarchy cartel, depending on how you want to phrase it.
Say that last part again.
So, when you look at when you study economics, you use charts, right?
Yep.
You have supply and demand, and then you say, okay, let's say you have the money supply, and you increase interest rates, right? Interest rates go up, money supply goes down. Interest rates go down, money supply goes up, right? And so you map these things in terms of short run and long run. Okay, so in the short run, you get GDP and you get investment and people investing in things and the economy's booming. But in the long run, what happens if you keep low interest rates, you inflate the money supply, and now you have inflation, right? In the long run, right? So you get the economic hit in the short run, you get the inflation in the long run, and that's kind of the give and take, right? But essentially what you're doing is all of these graphs, because you're just using two constraints, which are two axes. If you've ever heard of constraint-driven creativity, right? So we're graphing these things on two axes or two constraints, but this graph kind of implies that the people in the market are all the same size, when in actuality, there is a handful of market players upon which price is determined. And nowhere is that more the case in NFTs, right? You might say, oh, this NFT has been trading back and forth and blah, 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 and this is the value. But really what you're looking at is a bunch of whales playing tennis. And it's hard to, figure out which is which.
Oh yeah, it's like that with everything.
Yep. And Ahmed told me that, the people who are intelligent actually have an incentive to seem unintelligent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's because the wise man doesn't speak. You sit there and listen. You learn all you can. You don't need to sit there and
Does
tell
not know.
everybody
Yeah.
all this information. That's how you get ahead.
Yeah, that's how the Tao Te Ching starts. He who speaks does not know, and he who knows does not speak.
Yep.
Which puts
Because
us on Twitter Spaces in an awkward position.
it really bases you, and it really bases yourself off of you don't need help to learn something, so you shouldn't need to help someone else learn something. You can ask them questions, right, to get them to start thinking in the right direction. But for someone to really learn, no matter what it is, they have to open those neural pathways themselves. You cannot you just tell someone something, because it doesn't help them. So you're actually wasting your breath and actually taking away from their opportunity to learn when you're trying to tell them information that you have already learned yourself.
Yeah. It's we have a training program for technicians, right? And we basically show them how to make money by increasing their skills in three areas, right? Cabling, cameras, and access control. And we meet a lot of people who want to stay where they're at. And that's completely fine. I don't have the right to change anyone.
I just like to think about like the NFTs and things, and like I feel like everyone's going about it the wrong way. Like I feel like the infrastructure like isn't the problem. I feel like it's just the fact that it's this everything is backwards, just the way that everyone's executing it. Like if you would start out, if these actual, the real collections, right? If they would start out going to doing it on a small basis, right? Getting it to the everyday consumer. Like let's say you do it with, let's say we start with cars, right? Just say we set it up with with dealerships, and you have the collection. Anytime someone buys a car, right? They get that NFT, issued to them with the car's, VIN number and all that shit attached to it. Like that would be the appropriate way to go about it first, because you're not, you have the real world asset first, and then attaching a digital asset so that if in the event it's stolen, anything like that, identity fraud, whatever it is, right? The owner of the NFT is the one who owns the car. So regardless of the identity fraud, whatever it is, right? Things like that would protect your house, would protect your car. All of your important assets would be protected under something that isn't controlled or accessible other than you. But that's the issue with the decentralization, is that, and this is what I don't like about it, is that if they can do like burning and all this stuff, right? This code and stuff, if you're able to go, okay, we're going to just diminish the value of these, right? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. How is that sustainable? If you're able to do burning and things like that, you're just basically go, hey, you're basically doing the same thing the Federal Reserve does, and they're like, oh yeah, we have old money, let's just get rid of it. You're not doing anything that really benefits it. You're kind of just going, hey, we're going to drop it so more people can get it, and then it's going to jump back up later on, and like it makes no sense. Like, why even do that?
Yeah, it's funny because as you were talking, I was telling Ahmed what you were saying. Ahmed's in cybersecurity, right? So he's seen people lose their shirt over and over and over and over again, right? So I want to introduce you to him. So what NFTs are worthless is working on is his name, right? NFTs, you there? Do you believe NFTs are worthless?
Yeah, I do actually in their current form. But in the future, when they have real utility, I think that they'll have actual value at that point.
I think it'll be a great thing when it comes to like like equity and things like that. Like, I think that's really be here. Like, I think because right now, like the big players, they're not worried about these the small little stuff with little groups and private clubs and shit like that, right? That's literally just but mainly the the gaming people and shit like that. Anybody that really just wants to try and build clout for themselves or whatever the hell it is. They're building their own little VIP corner for themselves, and it's like, VIP for what? For yourself? There's no merit behind that. There's nothing there. That's why the big players aren't. They don't. There's nothing there. There's no value in creating a little club for people to buy into when there's nothing. It just doesn't make sense. But
well, there is value
the,
created that people look to extract, right?
Well,
it's like you can look at it as a bull or a bear.
And it's like knowledge, right? Like if you're going in there and you're going, like sharing information, things like that, great. You know what I mean? There's a benefit to buying into that, right? But just having a club or having whatever, just so you can be like, yeah, we go hang out, or we go blah blah blah. Or like I've seen the ones where they're like, yeah, join, and then you get like a statue of the NFT. I'm just like, well, who needs that? What is their purpose in having a random ass statue? I'm like, I don't understand. Because there's nothing beyond that. They're like, okay, you receive this, and then like, okay, what's next?
See, I feel personally attacked because I used to collect baseball cards.
Yeah, but see, that's fine if it's a hobby. But these people are doing it as like, you know what I mean, as like a money grab. You know what I mean? Like, how many people?
Well, I was hoping to get a really rare card. I remember getting a Darren Ernstad 667 out of 100, and I had like a small diamond on it, and I put it in between glass, and I used to look at it and be like, this is number 667. I used to like
Yeah,
it.
but I mean that's fine though. You know what I mean? That's that's something you just enjoy. But okay, like if you let's say you were someone that collected statues. All right, let's just go off of that. Okay, you collected statues. Okay, what is the value of this random ass created NFT statue? Like, what is the value
None.
of that? Other than someone said, "Hey, this thing's worth 15 grand," and the 15,000 is probably just going to be the cost to mold the sucker. You're basically just buying a statue, and then whatever you bought into the NFT, they're pocketing that extra money.
Of course.
There's nothing there. I'm like, there's no value. It's not like you're gonna sell that thing in an auction later on. You know what I mean? Like, no one's gonna buy it. Like, the fuck is that
And the
thing?
NFT isn't even just NFT isn't even the statue. The NFT is just a receipt, and you're buying and selling receipts.
Exactly. You're literally paying. Like, it makes no sense. Like, literally, like that's why I was saying it's like you should buy a car and then they give you an NFT. Like, the NFT should not be the thing you're buying. Like, if you buy the NFT,
Right.
then you should receive the physical thing, right? Like, it should be like
That
a purchase, just like that, point blank.
correct.
Don't.
NFTs do have the non-fungible token, not in the form that they exist today. And this was like a whole conversation around cybersecurity that I was having with Mike and with some others, just to sort of, double down on the point that you're making. Non-fungible tokens do have a technically interesting place in the whole, information information theory, in the sense that NFTs are the equivalent of a singular instance of something in the digital world, which is really interesting. But again, within the context of a blockchain, right? You can, so just like we have one car, and therefore its equivalent NFT is only a single thing in the digital space and cannot, you cannot really have two authentic duplicates of it. I mean, obviously you could copy the data, but that's still that single NFT. I think that it will have some utility in the future. I can see it having a utility. It's like I don't know if anybody knows web development, that there is this notion of nonce, which is a token that you pass back and forth to specify a single unique session when you are interacting with a website. And the idea is that that protects you from, for example, pressing the submit button twice when you're doing a credit card purchase and being double charged, because this one unique thing is being passed back and forth. You're always able to make sure that the user error of pressing the buy button twice because their web browser wasn't acting fast enough is not going to double charge them. So NFTs are like that, but at a larger scale, potentially, right? That's one application that I can think of that's useful and reasonable, where you want to have a single token passed back and forth. The other way, and then building on that idea. So it does give a dimension, but the use that is currently being used, the way they're being used right now, it's just snake oil and scams, essentially. At the end of the day, people are literally thinking that they're buying something of value that has no inherent value, because it's like a derivative of a derivative. It's just in the financial sense, not in the calculus sense. But I mean, it's not a that's not as Proxy said. There's no value. It makes no sense, because even if you're buying, like, let's say, an NFT of a cute gorilla image that a kid created, well, you're still not buying the gorilla image. You're just buying a receipt. You're just buying a receipt that you paid money for that, and that's
Yeah,
it. You still don't own the digital art.
And I think there's a common misconception too with so people tend to learn about crypto right before they learn about NFTs. So I think there's a lot of people that kind of think that they work the same way. So like so when like you buy crypto right, you're essentially um you're trading, but you're converting your fiat into that crypto. So you're betting that you would rather use that crypto over your fiat. That's basically what you're saying. When you buy into it, it doesn't really do anything. Just trading it's not going to change anything. Um, but the misconception there is that when people are buying crypto, they buy NFTs like it's going to do the same thing, right? Where they're just going to be like, okay, I'm going to buy this NFT, I'm going to sit on it, and I'm just going to see what happens. And it's like, no, okay, you need to make sure that whatever's behind that NFT has some sort of real world benefit. If there's nothing there, then it's not worth your money. You have to be able to get something back out of it. Otherwise, you're just putting money into a useless image that doesn't do anything.
It's very interesting. One of the, just as you were talking about it, it just occurred to me. So let me just step back and give, like, NFTs are worth nothing, and Mike know about this, but you don't. I work in cybersecurity. I've created this new type of AI that enmeshes itself with data that actually enables the data to protect itself against corruption, like ransomware. Okay. The and one of the things that I was thinking was that there might be a use case where you want to do zero knowledge proof of ownership of data, of certain data in certain transactions, and that's where I think NFTs could be a good sort of starting point as a transaction beginner, where you prove that you own an NFT and therefore you can begin a transaction. Anyhow, I will. Yes, sir.
Here, go ahead, though. Sorry, didn't see your hand. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I wanted to hop into this conversation. I'm super tired, so if I misspeak or anything, just ignore me.
You do you. We got you.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. So I mean, I kind of so as of right now, I think NFTs are totally worthless. But like I said, in the future, I think that they'll have value. I think what you're talking about with the zero
Zero
knowledge
knowledge
proof.
proof.
Yeah, I think that that's a good use case possibly in the future. I also think that um, actual content uh, management in the sense of like DRM and like for example, if you have like an image now that ape is, and say 5 years from now, um, NFTs have a protocol that is implemented at the OS level, and every device manages NFTs the same way. Websites, so the majority of the web is essentially run by this content that is um, owned by different people, and as people come and look at this content, they could, for example, they could like upvote it or whatever, and doing that would give the owner a small fraction of money for whatever their content is that they created. So that image or whatever it is, and that would help, like for example, completely kill off like deep fake type situations, because then, like the iPhone, for example, could have like some kind of DID verification system or something. I don't know. It attaches to it.
That's very interesting. That yeah. So source of truth type,
Yeah,
integrity control, and in canonical data, and making sure that you can verify the source of truth for any piece of data. That's interesting.
you said that so much better than I did. Yes.
Well, you're tired, but I think I wonder. like we can talk about this separately, but I wonder if we can build that into Resiliate, because we do have that file system, and putting this layer on would not be that much more that much more difficult. So that might be an interesting sort of alpha project that we can work on.
Yeah, so a part of the immutable is actually it's mapped to create a protocol surrounding the NFTs and everything. I could give you more details at some point, but the idea is that any file type would be essentially an NFT.
That's
So,
very interesting.
I've got a question. I'm kind of curious about this. So, we see this obviously, you can, attach, different file types, right, with the NFTs. But is it possible to have it to where, like, let's say you have it stored into a wallet, right? Like you have your NFT in your wallet. Let's say you go to a public place, right? Let's say that you can attach executable code to your NFT, okay, and that saved whatever programs, data, and all those things. So your wallet would also act as a, hard storage
Protection
as
key,
well as,
the
as
hardware key.
well, right? So it would be basically the same wallet, but when you plugged it in, let's say you went to like a let's say you went to like a public library or something like that, right? You went in there, and when you plugged it in, it would automatically go ahead and verify, and it basically set up inside a virtual machine on that computer, just like however your home PC is.
Yes, as a matter of fact. So I just released a set of products. So there's a product line that we've just released called Resiliate. And Resiliate started out as a file system that has a lot of these, well, all of the underlying components that you would need to build what you're saying built into it. But in addition to that, we also have a operating system module that does other types of authentication. And what it enables you to do is create what we have called a software-defined security enclave, which is essentially what you're saying, that you can create a secure enclave in a public or an untrusted environment and literally bring up what would essentially be a trust zone, which has a zero trust boundary, right? And it's driven by something like the 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 strength of uh, the strength of proof that NFTs provide. Am I saying the same thing that you're saying? In order to run the
I think
executables,
so.
or
The base thing I'm trying to get at, I guess, is just allowing allowing your NFT to not only verify whatever the assets that you own, but also be able to actually load any saved information that you want into any machine and it be safe. So like you plugged it in, you can go to you can just search Twitter, right? And it'll automatically be logged you into your Twitter account. All of that
that
stuff would be linked in
that makes a
together.
lot of sense. So there's something that I know Matt and his company are working on, which is tied into. So you need to bring in hardware and software protections there at together, and
Right.
somehow make it so that you can trust the. Are you saying that we should be able to do that on untrusted hardware or hardware that we don't know, or are you
Well, see
saying
that.
that?
Well, that's the thing is, for it to be safe, the only way I can think of it is, because without any device, right, having direct access to be able to verify anything in that wallet through the blockchain, it would be unsecured. Um, but I think what would prevent that is if the wallet, anything that was coming out of that wallet was automatically ran through a virtual machine set up with its own firewall. So the program's not actually running in the computer or the device. You're just using that to display the information. All of the
So
Okay.
actual crucial information is coming from your wallet.
Yeah, there are ways of going about doing it, and there are different levels of security implications that go along with it. But I think that the overall idea has a lot of merit, and it is a problem that is not only that's a it's a hard problem, and one of the core applications that I can think of is the military application of a naked man. It's called the naked man problem, where you want to have an agent go into enemy territory with nothing on, and they have to use, in the sense of electronics or anything, they don't bring in any equipment, and they have to use whatever is available on the other side. So they pick up, let's say, a phone off of, like, let's say I send somebody to North Korea. They have to buy a phone in North Korea and use the phone over there and be able to do secure communication with the mothership using those technologies, and they have just one little piece that they can use to authenticate themselves and all that good stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's a hard problem, but I think that NFTs and blockchain wallets have a strong role to play in that. The question is, which user, what is the user persona that we're trying to solve it for? But I think there's something there. Like my instincts tell me that what you just described. There's something there, not just you know what I mean.
Yeah, because there's got to be some way, you're right, to be able to actually verify things without having, because I mean that's why I know, the original, the reason people were going with NFTs anyway, the big players, is because, the main goal was to get rid of paper documents, right? So you can have all that stuff in a secure location where you can access it at any time, but it's also not, open. There's not where someone's going to hack into it. Not, all that stuff's secure in that way. Um, but as far as, it's like all these other integrations go, it can go much further than that. It's just a matter of getting the infrastructure set up beforehand to implement it. Because right now we're not set up for it. There's nothing,
Oh
other than
no,
other than these exchanges. There's nothing, that's really using it.
that's very true. So go ahead, sir, Matt.
Yeah. Just to tack on. Yeah, I think that NFTs could be used in the sense of, and this may be kind of what you're saying, but essentially you could store the executables inside of the NFTs themselves, call upon the NFTs. So essentially you'd have a whitelisted application that's secured and decentralized. Um, that part is something that I've been looking at in detail lately, trying to figure out the decentralized identity system and the future of that, to be able to grab data from these decentralized sources and verify it, and make sure that it hasn't been modified in any way in transit. And I think that that applies to all file types, literally across the board. So yeah, that's definitely something that I'm looking at. I don't know. Yeah, self-sovereign IDs. I was looking at that too in depth.
This was very interesting, gentlemen. I am going to beg leave again, but
Yeah,
Proxy, nice meeting you, man. I don't know your
absolutely.
name, but you seem like a dad husband. I'm also a dad husband, so nice to nice to meet you.
You as well, man. My name's Brandon.
Hi, Brandon. It's very nice meeting you.
My,
I'm Ahmed.
I'm
I
gonna drop off as well, but this was unexpectedly amazing. Thanks, Proxy.
Of course. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Gotta have some
absolutely.
good
We're gonna see you guys soon.
conversations every now and then, right?
I think they still can exist, but not in very large numbers.
Yeah, it's hard to find like a good space, like because most of anytime I start a space, it's usually an hour or two in before someone starts filtering in, and like or I get those random people that join in for a few seconds, don't say anything, and then I'm like, hey, how you doing? And then they leave, and I'm like, all right, fine, I was just trying
Dude,
to be
the first
nice.
2 minutes, the first 2 minutes of every Twitter space, I feel like the loneliest man on the planet. I don't think anyone likes me. You know what I mean? Like, it's really rough the first 2 minutes.
Yeah,
But
like,
I think I'm following you. So, like, next time you have a space, let me know. Invite me. Invite
okay.
us.
Yeah, because I mean, usually
Two
when I
pizza
get on
team.
here,
Maybe we need.
I'm either talking about this stuff, doing my voice impressions, or just just checking in on
Oh,
people.
with it. The maybe if two pizza teams are the answer, maybe two pizza conversations are also the equivalent answer.
Yeah, man. Hey, have one side with sausage, have the other side with pineapple, whatever you
Uh-huh.
prefer.
Love it. You guys are the best. We'll talk soon.
Take it easy.
All right, take care.